All right, this is the second time I'm recording this. All right, because first time the mic was off, I talked like 20 fucking minutes. So I'm gonna sum all this shit up in about 10 minutes. Okay. For those of you that know me, that have been following my channel for a while, you know I own a supercharged 2020 Gen 3 S550 Coyote Mustang, right? 6-speed manual, 355s in the rear. I have the ESS G2 blower with the G3 intercooler on a 120 millimeter pulley, making 10 pounds of boost. I have BBK long tubes, high flow cats, X pipe going into the stock axle back. I have active exhaust. Don't know what axle back I'm going to go with in the future, but I'm going to be changing that as well. I got the SR Performance lowering springs in the car. I have a Barton short throw shift that's trans mounted. I used to have an RXT clutch on the car. I just swapped over to a Spec SS Super Trim twin flywheel. It's a damn good clutch. I'm bringing it in right now, so I'll talk about that in a second. I'm running, I think, SP Performance brake system with the slotted and hole rotors with their extreme contact pads with extreme tires, contact tires. I got FIC 1000s, NGK Spark Plus gap that's 0.28, 0.028. I got the Vortex booster pump, tile blow-off valve, got precision blow-off valve, but I swapped to a tile. I have a UPR dual catch can ventilated. It goes into one system. I just took off the ESS front mount inlet tube and put on one directly on the blower itself underneath the hood, clean up a little bit. Cosmetic wise, I got a Drake's diffuser. I got the Drake hood scoops on there right now, but I'm going to hood vents. I'm going to probably take them off. I gotta get the area really clean and then put them back. If not, I'm gonna take my stock ones and just get them painted black and put it back on there. Anything else that I'm missing on the car? It's a lot. It's a lot. It's a whole bunch. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. I'm not missing anything. Stock spring. I got SR Performance 10-pound 6 spring, but I put the stock one back on there. Got Ford Performance. What you call it? Like hood struts to keep the hood open. Yeah, that's it. Okay, there ain't nothing else. Tuned by Lund. IMRC lockouts, and it's tuned by Lund. So, but anyway, that's it. And I go through and make sure after the fact. If I miss anything, I put it in the description down below. Future mods coming, one-piece drive shaft. I'm changing the rear end from 355 to 373s with a torque lock differential. I have a torque lock with 355s in there, but I'm going to do all that here real soon. And then after that, I'm going to pick an axle back, then get the speed up, probably stage 2, stop the hot kit. And then I'm going to be ready to put the Ford Innovation fuel system in the car to run E85. And then I got some other stuff after that coming down the pipe. But that's going to be over the next few weeks to a year or two, because that's a lot more money coming in. And I just had a clutch put in, and that shit wasn't cheap. Now, the reason why I'm making this video is because there is a controversy going on between the G2 and the G3 blower, right? And this is mainly in the Amory. If you don't know what the Amory is, go watch Alejandro Flores. He works for Lund. He tuned my car when I first put the blower on the car and everything. So everything he's been telling me towards the car, I have been doing. And he recommended that I should have got the G3 blower. And he gave his pros and cons on why. And that is because he actually got a video. He actually did one of the base files for the car. He had a white Gen 3 with the G3 blower on there, and he was running E85 race. I can't remember, but he went down to like 100 millimeter pulley and made it like damn near close to a little bit over 8, close to, it was close to 9, something like that. Anyway, he ran out of fuel. His fuel pump ran out, not injected, the pump ran out. So, but he has a lot of good points about the G3. But here's the thing: I've been had that blower for 2 years. I enjoy the blower because it only comes on at very high RPM, right? You really don't feel it down low, and that's how most centrifugals are. They build a lot of boost with RPM, unless you're on a very aggressive pulley like the G4. Okay. So I don't really see a lot of power to after 5,000 RPM. And I prefer that because I'm rarely up in that range. I just know the power is there for me if I want it. And for someone that probably doesn't want to go north of 630, 640, the G2 is for you. It's for you. And the reason being, you ain't got to add a lot of stuff to your car. I don't. Everything all into my car right now is about $15,000 worth of stuff. I could just got that kit, got the tune, got everything stock wise that I need, dropped in the car, 7,000 in. I got a 650 some horsepower fucking car. No added upgrades. Could have left everything else stock, minus maybe the clutch. But I wanted to add more things to the car so the power can be used to its full potential. So the only true difference in the G2 to G3 is basically this. Let's say your car and your friend's car is identical. Y'all got everything identically done to the car. The only difference is he has a G3 blower with a G3 intercooler. You got the G2 blower with the G3 intercooler. I would recommend you get a G2 intercooler unless you're going to keep it on the 125, 120 pulley. And that's only because you don't want to risk maxing out the intercooler's capacity of how much air it can hold and cool at the same time. So let's say y'all got all of that, right? The only difference is he has a G3, you have a G2. You got the same fuel injectors. Spark plug got the same transmission. You both got stick shifts because the little less drivetrain loss. Both got stick shifts, 6 speeds. Same rear end gears, 355s. Everything's identical. Boost pump, everything's same. Just a blower. You both get tuned by Lon. He gets his G3 file. You get your G2 file. Y'all do y'all 3 log pulls, right? So they can get it all dialed in. Then they send y'all the file back, put it in. Y'all go to the dyno. The G2 on the 120 making 10 pounds of boost. Full exhaust, everything stock right. It put out 620 with great octane, great 93, 620, 630-ish. The G3, same gas, got from same place. Put it on dyno, 10 pounds of boost. It pumped out 650, 660. That's truly the only difference. It flows a little bit more air at 10 pounds of boost. Everything stock. You made 620 is very conservative. 630 would probably be where at 640 would be great, with just great. But we're gonna say 630. And then the G3 made close to 670-ish, should probably be where it gets to. It makes about 40 more horsepower because of the air it can flow at the same RPM, same pulley size. That's it. All you gotta do with the G2 at that point is remove your cats, free up some restriction, and then put on dyno again. You may notice with a straight pipe there, it jumped up 30 horsepower. That's about it. That's really it. But you can do more with the G3 than the G2, because if you try to max it out, you're going to have a bad time. I have a friend here that lives in Georgia. He has a G2, G3 set up. He's running the 110 pulley, I believe. And he's making on E, he's exclusively running E. He's making right at 750-ish horsepower to the tires. Only problem is if he pulley down one more pulley, he might only net additional 20 more horsepower, because at that point in time, the blower is going to be maxing out. It can't spin faster than what it already is doing. Therefore, it's not making any more power. Then if you go any smaller than that, you're just going to have to repair the propeller. You got to get you a better propeller so it can blow more air or whatever. Or get a G3 head. So that's the only thing. But 750-ish horsepower on E on that little blower is nothing to sneeze at. That is killing a lot of fucking cars out there, right? But I don't want to risk stressing out the blower, so I'm going to be going to the G3 with the G4 intercooler setup. I don't have to go with a G4 intercooler, but I plan on, because I'm going to keep the G2, because I'm going to give another Mustang. And ultimately, I'm probably going to call my daughter and then take that G3 head off and that fucking G4 intercooler and swap it back, G2, G3. I think it'd be good enough for her. and work on my other Mustang in the future, or in case something was to go on with the G3 here, I can always put the G2 back on there, and I can always have something, a blower to go with. That's what I'm getting at, right? Now, I want to make 750 safely, so that's one of the reasons why I'm gonna be going to the G3, keeping on 120. I know where everything done to that car. That car should see about 680 on good pump gas. Octane may get close to 700, and then I can just put E85 in the car. I want to get the fuel system put in about 4 innovations, and then that damn thing should see 750, 760, maybe even 770 on the 120 millimeter pulley, making 10 pounds of boost. That is good enough for me on 10 pounds of boost. And then if I just want to tickle 800 and surpass it, 115 on there, and I can even ride the 115 with octane booster. VPs tend to stay in the tank for about 3 good fill-ups if you mix it right. You can put it in a tank. You can run out about half a tank, fill it back up. You still got some good octane in there. After about that second fill-up, I'll have to add some more. That just keep the knock sensors down. And you can ride the 115 on 93 with octane booster, right? And make 730 with that G3-ish, right? And then 800 when you put the 85 in there, right? Same on the G2. I can probably run the 115 with octane booster. It might get me up close to 700 pump. Remove the cats. It will get me up to 700. Probably 705, 710. E85, it'll be sitting at roughly, I say probably 740-ish on that 115. And like you get down to around 110, then you're really starting to push the limit of that fucking blower. Now if I keep that's without the cats. Now I put the cats on there, of course those numbers are going to come down. It might only see 680 on the 115 with the fucking octane booster, and then the 85 it might see 740-ish with E85, which isn't bad. Like I say, my buddy's on the 110, as I recall, and he's making 750, 760, but he has full exhaust, all that. He's not running without cats. I'm pretty sure if he takes the cats off, he might be touching 790, but we live in a mission state here in Georgia, so we don't want to keep swapping cats back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Straight pipe cat, straight pipe cat. So, not saying that I won't do it in the future. Just see what the fuck's, how much power I free up. And then when it's time for missions, just put the cats back on there. And then when I get done with missions, take them back off. But that's money that you don't have to really waste if you don't want to waste it. But if it costs you a couple $100 to put them on for one day, and then if the shop don't mind not really charging you, because if you tell me, hey, I'm putting the cats on, but I'm gonna take them back off, put this back on the next day, how much will you charge? Up, down? I won't pay it all at once. Then you can save yourself a headache. But some people don't want to do that, so they just they get high flow cats that can handle the power. And yes, it's restriction, but you're handling the fucking power. So the G3 is a real good unit. I'm not saying that it's not worth the money. Just some people don't want that type of power. They just want to cruise at about 600 on 125 millimeter. If it's a Gen 2, you might be making 580-ish to the wheels, 590 because lower compression on the 125. And some people want to keep it out to 650. So the G2 is good, and they want the power to come on at 4,000. When you get the G3, the power comes on around 4,000, and then you get the fucking G4, it comes on around 3,000 because the pulleys are aggressive. Now, of course, if you have the bigger one, it's about the same thing, about 5,000, 4,500, 5,000. But the G3 will tend to come on a little bit sooner because it's flowing more air at a faster rate than that small little G2. That's why you fill it up top past 5,000. 5,500 is flying, right? And that's what a lot of people prefer. It's not that hard on the engine, and you don't get a lot of blow by either. When you have a smaller pulley on the car or a blower that's making a lot of power, you'll get a lot of blow by. So there's a lot of pros and cons to any blower. It's just what you prefer from ESS. I think all the blowers are terrific. Just got to know what you're building it for. I can't tell you this, and I'm done. If you're going to drag race it, I wouldn't really get it for drag race unless you're going to run a G4 or a G3 on a very aggressive pulley because of torque. Unless you're gonna put some real good gears in the rear, like 410s or 373, something like that to get you out the hole, I wouldn't get the blower for drag racing, especially in the stick shift. I would get it for an A10. But if you want to get it for a stick shift, I would tell you to get a Ben Cabo bit transmission with some good slicks and gun hole silver, right? But you just gotta know what you want. Turbos, the best of both worlds, but they're more complex and more expensive. Whipples is real good for drag racing, but they come at a cost on the transmission because they're so very torquey. So you gotta have a real good transmission. And stick shifts with Whipples, there's a lot of broken transmissions with that because there's a lot of power at very low RPM, torque wise. So centrifugals is like you want to keep it NA-ish with more power-ish versus hitting you with a loud torque out the hole like a Whipple will. So that's my advice. So like I said, I'm not arguing with the Armory, because I'm part of the Armory. I just wanted to throw my 2 cents on why I got the G2, and I believe it's a blower. It's a good blower. When you start to down talk guys that want the G2, it kind of caused a disruption in the Mustang community. Everybody don't want a G3. You know, I can say, well, why didn't we all just go get G4s and build a car for a G4? Why waste money when you get a G4 and gun hole silverware? It's a lot of cons with the G4. As drivability is one of them. It's very fucking aggressive. They recommend the 95 pulley and down. They don't recommend you put the 125 on there. It's not going to function right. It recommends on ESS site that with the G4, we recommend a 95 millimeter pulley or less, or 100 or less. So that's going to suck when it comes to just trying to drive around town. Because the moment you do this here, you're going to be sliding every motherfucking where. So you got people that want the G2. They avoid all that. They ain't got to worry about that power coming to a very high RPM band. You got folks that got the G3. The power come on right in kind of the middle of the power bands. Not so aggressive until you get to around the 100 millimeter pulley. You know, until then, it's fun. It's drivable. It's making very good power. You know, it's reliable, right? You can somewhat drag it, you know, but everybody wants something for their setup. So I will be getting the G3 because I don't want to stress out the blower trying to hit 750, 760 on E. But money wise, if you're not trying to spend a lot, G2's for you. If you want to have a little bit more oomph, a little bit more rigor room, G3. And if you are a serious contender and you're for that racing life, G4. So I think ESS is smart with doing the lineup that way. A lot more people getting the G2, and yes, they're up into a G3 head, right? If they got the G3 intercooler, that's money. So that's one of the reasons why they got the G2. And a lot of people are going to buy the G2 because it's more affordable. And like I say, once again, a lot of people ain't trying to even make 650, 60. They just want some little boost, little fun, you know, ride out. So that's my advice. Hope this video helps. Once I break in the clutch right now, I got 240 miles on. I'm going to do about 750 miles on that clutch in town driving before I decide to start going watt. I'm still having an issue with second gear. I'm not really thinking the synchros. I'm just thinking this clutch, the material. So it's going to take a little bit longer. That reverse first and second is a motherfucker. But if after 750 some miles, I'm still having the issue, then I'm going to probably take the transmission in and have them take it out. It's under warranty. Put a new one in there because I think what might have happened is the RXT shocked that one as well. And the RXT was second gear. Second gear was a motherfucker. And it was just so aggressive because it was unsprung. This one is a sprung hub, so the clutch is very easy. It engages very smoothly. And I'm just really thinking because a lot of gears are notchy. First, second is very notchy. Reverse is notchy right now. You got to requires ump. Second, just still someone trying to lock me out. So it might be a synchro issue. I'm hoping it's not because it does go into gear depending on what RPM I'm at. So that's why I'm like I don't think it's a synchro because it don't matter RPM. It should still always lock me out. It should be grinding. If you're going second gear, it should kick it out of second. What's going on with me? We had everything replaced too. The throwout bearing, the hydraulic station, everything was replaced. The fork. I think what's going on with my issue is since it's a brand new clutch, the Kevlar material, the clutch isn't releasing. It's still somewhat aggressive material. It's somewhat aggressive still. because sometimes when I try to downshift in the second, it won't take. And if I try going to first, sometime it's like it's trying to lock me out. The material is very aggressive, so it's just going to take some heating cycles to get that down to where it will go into gear. But I'm going to know around 700 miles or so. If that thing is still giving me a problem in second gear, then it might be something going on with the gearing in there. And then I'm going to probably just get a brand new transmission. Keep that one. If Ford pay me for the core, if they're going to give me a core back, then I'm just going to use the core money to buy another one. Then ship that one to Caliber and have Caliber upgrade the internals. Probably get a stage 2. I really don't want stage 3 because I'm not making all that type of power. They have shipped in and put that one in and go from there. But I'm just guessing it's just the clutch right now because I don't really be on the car like that. But I do know the MT82s is known to go out. And with the RXT being put on this one, I should have had everything changed when I had this second one installed. And of course, the shop that put it in at the time had double mounted the trans. It was body mounted and trans mounted, and that's not how the body was supposed to go in there. And the guy lied and said he knew what he was doing and didn't know jack shit. So the input shaft of the gear selector shaft could be off because if the car is trans mounted and body mounted, when the body goes up, it's trying to also pull on the trans, and that could wear the input shaft. And that could be what could be causing my gears to do what they're doing, especially second gear. If it's not that, then it could just be in the transmission just took that shock from the RXT, and it messed some stuff up, and so I get a new one. And since this is a dual flywheel, dual clutch, it's not aggressive at all. It's very forgiving on takeoff. It holds power pretty good. It shouldn't do that stock transmission like that. So that one was on me. I should have changed the clutch. I didn't think that the clutch and flywheel was the reason why the first one. I knew the first one I beat the fuck out of. Took it to the track well before I boosted the fucking car. And when I put the RXT on there, that just expedited the thing for wearing. So I'm vetting it. I'm taking my time. I'm not recording anything yet because I can't really do anything. I'm basically shifting gears at between 1,500 and 2,500 RPM right now. It's nothing to be seen right now. So once I get it all broken in and I can start revving to 3, 4, maybe 5,000 shifting gears and it's going to gear pretty smoothly, then I'll take y'all guys for a drive, give you my honest opinion about the clutch, and then hopefully get some open throttle pulls, and then really give some good feedback, and then we'll take it to the dyno and see will I make any more power, because I do believe the RXT was slipping as well. I don't think I broke the clutch in thoroughly before the first transmission went out, even though I did what McLeod told me to do. This clutch here seems to put the torque down very good and a lot sooner. I can feel it when I'm taking out, like in third gear at low RPMs, at second gear low RPMs, it's sitting at 40-50 at low RPM. So the RPM's climbing, but the speedometer's climbing with the RPM versus when I used to be in second and I could stump it. Yeah, the speedometer would go, but the RPM would go faster before the speedometer could catch. So it might have some slipping going on. Now I'm not really seeing that. Once again, I'm not beating on it, so I can actually see it. I can see the car. The car feels phenomenal now. So I might pick up even more power on the dyno, because if the clutch wasn't doing its job properly, right, then I'm losing a lot of torque and I'm losing some horsepower as well. So I'm interested to see what the car is doing now on the 120 millimeter pulley at 10 pounds. And I can't wait to put it on dyno and find out here once I get the clutch broken into. So once again, guys, that's my rant on the G2, G3 blowers and what's going on with my car right now. Until the next Mustang video, you guys stay safe. This has been your boy, Savar Matner. I'm out. Peace.